Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. So as you can probably tell from the title, it's another creepypasta video and it is one of the classics. I'm going to be discussing Nina the Killer. It's one that I've been wanting to cover for a little while on this channel, and I thought, you know what, why not? I know that we covered another one recently that was relating to Jeff the Killer, and this is going to be another one that's also related to Jeff the Killer. There's a bit of a theme going on, but I do like these sort of ones, you know, with the crazy killer sort of ones. But yeah, I love all that sort of creepy killer vibes. I mean, I am into true crime as well, so I guess it's not too far out the realm of possibility. They are one of my favourite creepypastas, or favourite types of creepypastas. I mean, I do love like video game creepypastas and weird object sort of ones, but I think the ones that I am normally more so drawn to more than the others are the crazy, messed up psycho killer ones. Don't know what that says about me, but let's not think too deeply about that. So anyway, let's get crack-a-lacking. So, Nina the Killer. I heard recently that there was a new killer. I was surprised when I heard it for the first time. I first thought that he was just a crazy fan of Jeff the Killer because of her appearance, but after doing a thorough investigation of her, I discovered that he was worse than a monster. Things didn't go well after that. I read it in a local paper. Strange and unexplained murders have increased for several months. They had investigated that the suspect was a killer. The investigators found a witness who said that it was not only one killer but two killers. He said that both of them are attacking different cities. It is still unknown if they work together or separately, but luckily I was able to find another witness from the hospital. He told me what happened. Here's what the witness said. It happened one night, the guy narrated. I was walking from my work to home and I was alone in the streets. Then I decided to take a shortcut because I want to get home quickly. It was a big mistake. When I was already halfway to my home, I began to feel that I was being watched and I heard footsteps. I turned quickly, making sure that a thief is not following me, but I found nothing, so I just thought that it was just my imagination or something like that. I continued walking, but the feeling of being watched became stronger and I heard footsteps close. I noticed something approaching, then suddenly I saw a black-haired girl with a magenta streak in her hair. She looked like she was about 16 or 17, though her face did not look like a human. Her skin was very pale and her eyes looked at me with a thirst for blood. She had eyes that were very wide with a strange, disturbing look. Her smile was so dark and I was afraid. So basically she was a scene girl from Tumblr era. That I used to love. Anyway, I stood still for a minute. I felt great fear running through my body. She didn't say any word. She just stood there for what seemed like an eternity, and finally the girl just gave a speech. As she moved her head to one side in a way that a psychopath would do, I immediately felt nervous. Go to sleep, my prince. Then I quickly ran to the opposite direction. I ran as fast as I can, but it was not enough as she was too fast. Then I suddenly felt a dark presence followed by a sharp stab through my arm. I fell to the ground with a groan of pain. Then she released a hysterical laugh. She used a knife and she stabbed it into my shoulder. She managed to slice off my shirt, marking my stomach, bleeding, but luckily I heard the voice of a policeman who came. He was holding a gun, but the girl just smiled to it, and the police fired several bullets in her direction, but the girl avoided it rapidly, and she ran quickly while laughing. I saw her climbing one of the houses, then she disappeared. I was never able to forget that face, let alone that laugh. After my interview with him, the young man was found dead in his home. His body was chopped into pieces. It was full of blood everywhere, and the room where the body was found on the wall was written with blood that said, "You didn't go to sleep, my prince." So that is about one of the victims, which sounds pretty hardcore to be fair. So now let's look into the origin of Nina the Killer. Nina Hopkins is an 11-year-old who transferred to a new school so that she could be closer to her home. One Sunday morning, a day before her first day at her new school, she woke up and went to the bathroom and brushed her teeth. She went back to her bed and she took her laptop to connect it to the Wi-Fi. Nina was not the type of girl that was very cheerful. She was not the type of girl that would open a window and let the light in her room and do something productive. No, she just enjoyed sitting down to watch anime or listen to music like rock, J-pop or K-pop, playing video games or just play guitar. She liked to be herself and loved the family and friends, but this time she did not want to do any of those things that is considered normal. This time she wanted to read Jeff the Killer Creepypasta for the 1000th time. She adored him. It was her favourite. She felt a strange attraction to him. She had an admiration for him more than anything. Every time she read it, she felt a strange desire, but she didn't know why she enjoyed this strange desire. When she started to read it, the door suddenly opened. She quickly saw her little brother Chris and his beautiful green eyes. Nina thinks Chris is her prince. She loved calling her little brother Prince because when she was just little, her mother would always tell her fairy tales when it's bedtime. She liked this type of stories, and she thinks the princes in the fairy tales look like her little brother Chris. Chris had dark black hair, fair skin and light green eyes, like his late father. However, Nina has light brown hair, fair skin and light blue eyes, like her mother. "Sis, it's time to eat," said the child with an innocent smile. "I'm going, my prince." She pinched the cheeks of her little brother. She left the laptop on the bed and went to eat. The next morning, Nina and Chris went to school. Nina got up and dressed in a shirt that is a favourite, and she took her bag. She felt something strange, like a strange desire. She did a strange little smile that formed on her mouth. Suddenly she heard her mother's voice, and she was in reality again. And she immediately took the bag and she completely ignored what happened. She quickly went downstairs. "Are you both ready for school?" asked the mother. "Yes," they both responded. "Well, good luck in school," and the mother went to the kitchen. "Bye, Mum," they both responded. They walked to the school because Nina thinks taking a bus is annoying. Fair play. They both went their separate ways. Nina went to high school while her little brother went to elementary school. Nina didn't really like attending classes because she thinks it's boring. When siblings finished taking classes, they both decided to find a quiet place to eat without having to worry about students playing around them. So she found a garden behind the school where there were no people, no teachers or even students. They sat and ate, thinking they would have a peaceful breakfast. They then heard footsteps. Nina looked up and met a girl much older than her. She had black hair. Well, what do we have here?" "New students," announced the girl. "My name is Claudia and I'll rule at the school, and if you do not obey what I say, you will suffer," she said as she pulled a knife from her jeans. Then suddenly 2 guys came out from a nearby tree. They were known as Malcolm and Johnny. Nina sat up quickly and stood in front of Chris to protect him. "Hey, we don't want any trouble, we just want a peaceful breakfast," Nina clarified. "Ah, I see, but you shouldn't be here. This area is ours," Claudia said as she approached them. "That's stupid, you have no right to make us go away from here," said Chris, while confronting Claudia, but Johnny punched him in the stomach. Chris collapsed, but Nina quickly held him. "Chris," said Nina while holding him in her arms. "Well, if you don't want to be next, I recommend you obey and get out of here," claimed Claudia while pointing Nina's face with a knife. Nina did nothing but punch Claudia's face. Claudia collapsed to the ground. Nina took Claudia's knife and stabbed her shoulder. Then Nina gave a strong kick on the crotch of Malcolm. He quickly fell down to the ground, but Nina didn't stop. She quickly released several kicks in the boy's face. The boy's face was now full of wounds and blisters. He had a nosebleed. Johnny became frightened immediately when he saw how Nina attacked Claudia and Malcolm. He started to run away from her, but Nina immediately noticed it and she quickly ran to him. She used Claudia's knife and she quickly lunged it at the boy, targeting his stomach. "Nina!" She heard the voice of a little brother. Nina immediately turned to him and she got confused as to why her little brother had a very surprised look on his face. Nina decided to let Johnny go and stepped back. She looked at her blood-stained hands. She felt like a monster, but she had to admit that her killer side was extremely good. She turned back to her brother. Her brother was surprised at what he had saw. He was shocked at what he had saw. Nina went to him and took his arm. "Come on, we can't be here for so long," I said. Then we left the garden. After that, Nina went to wash her hands. She knew she must avoid telling somebody or even mentioning what happened. Her little brother Chris thought it was just self-defense, but she knew something else was going on here. She knew that something was stronger and hard was starting to form inside her. That feeling of being powerful and strong, the need to hurt someone. The day passed quickly, and when the siblings returned, they sat down to eat with their mother. "Well, how is school?" asked the mother with a sweet smile. Chris stayed quiet and didn't answer the question. "Great," Nina commented with a psychopathic smile. Nina went upstairs after eating and opened her closet, revealing her collection of Jeff the Killer. She had several Jeff posters, Jeff clothing and some Jeff notebooks, Jeff dolls and Jeff stuffed animals. She took a doll from her closet and put it in her bed. She looked at the doll. She couldn't tell if the doll seriously small intimidated her or amused her. Then she whispered, "Jeff, you made me do this." After the incident, Malcolm and Claudia were found unconscious, but they didn't find the culprit. They also had no idea that Nina was the one who did it, an 11-year-old, so she had that advantage to avoid suspicion. And since it happened the first day of school, many couldn't tell if Nina was there because of a lot of people didn't know much when it comes to new students, and it didn't gain much attention. Also, a lot of students didn't know whether it happened on the first day of school or not. One day, Nina opened her locker. She found a note which said, "I know what you did, but don't worry, I will not tell anyone. You are very skillful, but also very dangerous." Nina didn't find a signature or anything to identify who wrote this note, but she had the knowledge that someone saw her but decided not to reveal his name. Meanwhile, Nina's sanity didn't improve, and she took a knife in her kitchen and she hid it in her pocket while sleeping in the room with her brother and mother. One day when Chris was playing with his new friends in the park, Nina's mother, whose name is Monica, noticed that it was getting dark, so she asked her daughter to tell her brother that they are going home now. Nina went to look for her brother, but she didn't see her little brother. She became worried, so she went over to Chris's friends and she asked them where her little brother was. This responded that a black-haired girl took him. Nina became very worried and went home to take the knife in the room that she hid so that her mother wouldn't find out about this. Nina spent a lot of time finding him. She was getting desperate, and she hopes that her little brother is in a safe place at least. Then she saw a car coming. When the door of the cars opened, she saw something that was thrown away in the ground. She was surprised when it was Chris, who was in the ground. She then heard laughter coming from the car before the car went away. Nina quickly held Chris in her arms. Her little brother was brutally beaten and his clothes was ripped apart. "Chris, what happened?" she exclaimed while holding the small body of a brother. "Nina asked me to play," said Chris while trying to speak to Nina. Nina tried to control something that was screaming inside over and over and over again. She felt that she needed to control her anger. Nina quickly took him into a hospital. Nina called her mother and informed her what had happened to Chris. Her mother quickly went to the hospital. The doctor told them that there was internal bleeding and swollen wounds was found in his body. The mother of Nina began to cry, but Nina just kept quiet to the situation. She wanted to avoid hurting someone just for revenge. The next day, Chris was released from the hospital, but the doctor told him to rest for 3 weeks. Nina didn't go to school because she wanted to take care of her little brother. She would tell Chris some stories and she would help him by making sure he would take some of his medications. Nina went to school again. She received a new note which read, "I'm sorry about your brother. I hope he recovers. You must never think you're alone. I'm here. I'll be your friend." Nina suddenly blushed after reading this. She checked the letter again, but she didn't find a signature. Weeks had passed, and the arrival of the school's picture day arrived. Nina was ready for the picture. She wore a short black skirt, black stockings with deep red stripes, a sleeveless t-shirt that has black and blue stripes, and a bloody red ribbon in her long ponytail hair. She had felt that something was missing, so she looked in the closet. She sees a favourite purple hoodie, which reminded her of Jeff the Killer's hoodie. She then put it on. She went downstairs and sees a little brother waiting on the stairs. They both left the house and said goodbye to their mother. The siblings went to school, but this time they went on the bus to avoid meeting the trio again on the road. When they arrived at school, they saw the trio. Claudia, Malcolm and Johnny are walking in the hallway. They seemed to be searching for someone, but Nina was aware that the trio are searching for her and her brother Chris. The siblings decided to stay away from the hallway and must avoid being seen by them. The day passed quickly, but unfortunately the trio found them. Nina felt that she was being followed. When she turned her face to her back, she received a punch in the face and she fell to the ground. Then she saw her brother. He was caught in the arms of Malcolm. Nina tried to get up, but as she received another punch in the belly, she fell back to the ground and she looked up. She saw Claudia. "At last I have found you, bitch," said Claudia while standing in front of Nina. "This is my revenge for attacking me last time," she said while pulling a gun. "I don't want to fight you," Nina said whilst trying to stand up. Claudia immediately shot Nina using her gun, but Nina quickly reacted to it and she avoided the bullet. Nina stood up and ran as fast as she could to an abandoned house nearby. It was locked inside, so she climbed up the stairs. The trio tried to shoot her with a lot of bullets, but they couldn't succeed in shooting her. Nina went inside in the bathroom and she trapped herself there. She wanted something to defend her. "Nina, are you gonna stay there? Did you forget what I did to your little brother, you idiot?" Claudia shouted from outside the abandoned house. Nina suddenly felt a combination of hatred and anger and that need to kill someone. Nina looked around the room. She saw an iron rod. A twisted smile formed on her face. She took the iron rod and left the room. She quickly dodged the bullets and hit Johnny through the head, releasing a stream of blood, some of the blood that went on Nina's face. And then something that changed in her. Something broke, like a thin thread had broken, that thread that defied sanity from insanity. Malcolm and Claudia took a few steps back. Nina turned to their direction, showing a psychopathic smile, making even Chris shiver with fear. Claudia tried to run along with Malcolm, but Nina hit Claudia in the head. She fell down and Malcolm decided to release Chris from his hands, but Nina didn't stop the violence. She then attacked Malcolm by hitting him in the head a lot of times and making his head full of crimson blood. Claudia tried to get a gun in the ground, but Nina prevented her. Nina pointed her iron rod to Claudia. "No, Nina, do you feel good?" Chris said, as he felt afraid of his big sister. Nina turned her face to him with a little more relaxed look, but she didn't stop smiling. "Do I feel good? I feel great, my prince. Let's go home," Nina said to her little brother. Nina and Chris returned home. Her mother saw Nina was full of blood, so she quickly went to her room. Nina grabbed her laptop and wrote a note that perhaps no one would ever read. It was midnight. The mother of Nina and her brother were sleeping. However, Nina could not sleep, so she got up. She looked in the mirror and she smiled in a twisted way. She went downstairs and she was ready to do the craziest thing in her life. Nina walked into the kitchen. She drank a bottle of vodka and put it on the table. She then started to search for a bottle of bleach in the cabinets, but she didn't find any bleach. "Where is the bleach?" Nina groaned as she looked for it. "Did you look for these?" Nina heard a voice behind her. She turned around and she was surprised to find a guy at the entrance of her kitchen. He was holding a bottle of bleach. The boy had an extremely pale skin, his hair was black and he had a disturbing smile. "Ah, you're Jeff the Killer," Nina said. I have been observing you for a while. I think you have become a killer like me," Jeff said. "You're right, so I need that bottle of bleach," Nina said. "Ah, let me help you," Jeff said, as he opened the bottle and poured the bottle of bleach in Nina's head. Then Nina felt another liquid running through her hair. She looked up and she saw Jeff had a matchbox in his hand. Nina smiled at him. What are you waiting for? Do it," Nina said with passion. Jeff grinned and he threw the burning match in her face. "Go to sleep," Jeff said, as Nina's face began to catch on fire. The flames started to spread around Nina's face. She screamed loudly. It was very painful for her. She looked around, but Jeff disappeared. Nina collapsed on the floor. She saw her mother and brother quickly going downstairs. Both of them immediately used a bucket of water to put out the fire. When the fire on the face was gone, her mother called the ambulance, but a lot of neighbours came to the house since they heard Nina scream. Nina fell unconscious when they put her on a stretcher and she was taken to the ambulance. Among the neighbours there was a boy that had black hair, a pale skin and green eyes. His height is slightly higher than Nina. The boy looked at her with some concern, but he doesn't know he can help her. The boy watched as they put Nina in the ambulance. Nina woke up after being unconscious in the ambulance. She tried to move on her own, but the bandages prevented her from moving. Suddenly a nurse came with her mother and her little brother. "It will be better if you stay still. You shouldn't move around," said the nurse. Her mother and little brother came to her and encouraged her that it's going to be okay. After 1 month of recovery in the hospital, the doctor decided that it's time to take off the bandages on her head. Her mother and her little brother were anxious to see her face, but luckily her face was kept intact and was not entirely damaged. "Well, Miss Nina, the burns were not severe. You still have most of your face structures, including your nose, but if the fire on your face kept burning, your face will suffer a great damage," the doctor said, while removing the last bandage from her face. When the last bandage was finally removed, Nina's mother was terrified of what she saw, while her little brother was hiding behind her mother. What is it?" Nina said, while she was getting up from the hospital bed. She ran towards the bathroom and she had a look at herself in the mirror. Her face is very different from before. Her skin had turned completely white. Her hair used to reach on down to her knees, but now it's on her back. Her skin was very soft like a marshmallow, but her family was very surprised to see her new face. "Sister," Chris said, while hugging Nina. "You still look as beautiful as before," Chris said. But the child knew that he lied to his big sister because he actually felt afraid of her sister's disturbing face. "Oh, Chris, you're so nice," Nina said while looking at him in that way. "Why, so disturbing." "But I want to be more beautiful," shouted Nina. Nina's strange behaviour confused her mother and her little brother, but it also made the doctor confused at the girl's behaviour. "This face is perfect. Oh, my dear Jeff, you gave me this beautiful face," the girl continued shouting. "The doctor, is my daughter okay?" Nina's mother asked the doctor. "Well, usually things go well after a lot of resting, but if her mental health doesn't improve, I'll give her psychotherapy," the doctor said. "I understand," Nina's mother said. Nina's mother grabbed Chris's arm. "We have to go now," Nina's mother said. "Ha ha, sure," Nina said while looking at her face in the mirror. The nurse handed her clothes, which is a purple hoodie with a short black skirt and black stockings with deep red stripes. Nina dressed up and left the hospital. She went home with her family. She doesn't know that she had become a monster that would kill everyone. They came to the house and Nina kept smiling in a disturbing way. Then she noticed a boy in one of the windows in the house. He had black hair, green eyes. The boy was watching her, but he quickly disappeared. That night, Nina's mother woke up after hearing the sobbing of a girl. Her mother gets up from her bed and she wanted to find the source of the loud noise she heard. She walked quietly and she saw the door of her daughter's room was open. She went inside the room and the room was very dark. She turned on the lights. Then Nina's mother saw something terrible at her daughter's room. Nina keeps stabbing a lifeless body of a girl. She keeps stabbing her with a kitchen knife while smiling. Her intestines and internal organs were removed and Nina put it on her bed. Her entire clothes were stained with blood. She stared at the ceiling. "She used to bully me at school," Nina said as she kept staring her eyes to the ceiling. "Mummy, I'm becoming more beautiful," she exclaimed as she turned her head to her mother. Her face was really bad. Her smile was shocking and her eyes were very wide. "I get tired of being worried. I get tired of being sad and suffer all the time. Now I'll smile always and people will see my beautiful face. This is the face that Jeff gave me, and I am beautiful, Mama," Nina asked her mom. Nina's mother could not help but take a few steps back, shaking her head. "No, Nina, you've become a monster. You have killed someone." Nina's mother started running. Nina quickly followed her mother. "Killing people when they run is funny," Nina said as she followed her mother. Nina's mother tried to run to Chris's room to wake him up, but when she's just about to touch the knob of the door to his room, Nina quickly stabbed her mother's skull with a knife, and her mother immediately fell down to the ground. I'm very kind of sad that Mum does not believe I'm beautiful. How sad, Nina said while pulling the knife out of her mother's head. Chris woke up in his room. He felt he was in danger and he was scared. Nina slowly opens the door, revealing her shadow. When Chris realised that it was his sister, he took his sheets off to see his sister, but what he saw was that his sister was actually holding a knife. Chris became scared again and he snuggled into his pillow. "Chris," Nina said in a whispery tone. Then Nina asked her little brother a question. "Am I beautiful?" Nina said. Chris stayed quiet as he held tightly onto the pillow. "Oh, come on now, Chris. I didn't do anything bad," Nina said. She hides her hands behind her back while crossing her fingers. It's a sign that Nina was lying to her little brother. "You know, I feel much more better now. Let's start a new life. Will you come with me?" Nina said as she gets closer to Chris. Her little brother Chris nodded at her. "Oh, good boy. If you want to join me, then just go to sleep, my little prince." Nina kicked the front door of the house while carrying her little brother on the back. Chris was dead. His dead body was smiling. That looks very innocent, but his eyes were wide open. That makes him look like he's still alive, but in reality he's already dead. He was covered in blood and he has multiple stab wounds. Nina took a few steps at the entrance and she slowly looked at her little brother. "Chris, I'll kill more people. I'll make them all sleep," Nina said as she put down her little brother in the ground. Then she walked away to the streets. And that is the end of Nina the Killer. So, I really enjoyed that one. And there was some points where I did have to try and reword it as I was reading it, because there was one or two times, so there might have been one or two little pauses where I was trying to reword it a bit as I was reading it. But yeah, because one or two words sounded a bit awkward, but aside from that, I really enjoyed it. Like I said at the start, I do like the more psycho sort of characters. They are my favourite ones, probably because, I don't know, I wouldn't think too deep into that. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. If you enjoyed, feel free to like and subscribe, it really helps me out. And if you have any suggestions for anything at all that you'd like me to cover on this channel, just let me know either in the comments below, in my socials that I'll link in my description, or drop me an email in my email address that's in my YouTube bio. And I'll see you all in the next one.